Do you want to make your own podcast? Spotify has a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And this is the platform that I use because it makes it so simple to record and distribute your podcast all in one place using your cell phone. What you need to do is download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hello, my name is Catherine Moore, social worker, mom, coffee lover, and founder of Social Workers Rise, where we inspire social workers to connect, expand their knowledge, and change more lives than they ever thought possible. I'm so excited you found my podcast. We will talk everything social work on every level from micro to macro. We will hear the stories of social workers who are doing big things, learn new skills, and most importantly, give you actionable steps to make a difference today. Let's go. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Social Workers Rise. Before we get into this week's episode, I just wanted to share some thoughts that I was having. One, it is really hard being a social worker right now. Whether you are in the field, whether you're trying to change jobs, or whether you're trying to find your first job at a grad school. Shout out to class of 2020. Congratulations. But I don't want to get hung up on, how hard it is, because I truly, truly believe that through every challenge and every valley, there is something better on the other side. You cannot have a comeback without a setback. Okay? So right now, it might be hard if you're really struggling. I feel for you, and I'm so sorry. But this is not the end, and we will have a comeback story. It's going to be epic. Right now, we are living through history, the pandemic of our lifetime. I hope it's very quickly over. But we're living through history right now, and we have the opportunity to really, really make a comeback, especially in the field of social work. So I'm doing a special event this week. It's going to be on Wednesday, May 20th. And the last day to register is when this episode comes out. So if you're listening late, I'm so sorry. But, this is just the beginning. We're going to be doing so many more powerful events and masterminds coming up. So please stay tuned. If you are one of those social workers who just really wants to be empowered, have connections, and continue to learn and be able to be the best possible that you can be every single day for yourself, for your family, and also for your clients, then you are in the right place, my friends. And I'm so, so happy to have you here with me, with Social Workers Rise, with our social worker family. So if you want to learn more about the Coping with Crisis event, it is at copingthroughcrisis.eventbrite.com. Check it out. Register if it is May 18th that you're listening to this, and I hope to see you there. If not, just connect with me on Instagram. I will be posting events and opportunities as they come up, and I'm super excited for what I have planned going forward this next year. It's going to be super powerful, massively impactful for you guys. I'm so excited. For now, let's check out our episode.
Hello.
Hi, Adora. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. So thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Social Workers Rise. I'm so excited to talk to you. And I know that you have a lot of great
knowledge and experience that I know I'm going to learn a lot about. So I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited for joining.
Yeah, you're welcome. Uh, so Adora, you are a medical and a financial social worker and an owner of, or is it a owner or the owner of Sham's Law Financial Services?
Well, I am a owner because me and my husband, we co-own the business.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I love that. Entrepreneurial couple. I love it. Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm just wondering, how did you okay, I'm really interested in your story because financial social work is not really a hot topic. If anything, I feel like social workers really struggle with finances and it's not really our strong point. So I'm just curious to hear, like, first, how did you know you wanted to get into social work? And there's some background noise, so I don't know if you're moving around or not, but we can hear that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how did you get into social work?
I in college, you know how when you go to college, you explore like what do you want to do in life? So I initially went to college for nursing. After, completing the prerequisites, I'm waiting to get into the nursing program. And I'm waiting, but I don't like to waste time. I like to be productive. So I said, well, while I'm waiting, I might as well dub a major. I might as well pick up another major. And I picked up social work because it was the closest to nursing I could get it to without taking additional extra classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh, well, let me go for social work. It's still with helping people because that was my passion. That's why I wanted to be a nurse anyway, is to help people. And by working in a hospital, because I was working in a hospital all throughout school as a patient care technician, I learned that there are social workers who work specifically in a hospital setting. So I said, well, it'd be perfect just in case if I need a change of, environment, if I get burnt out with being a nurse. So I started that degree and I finished it even before my bachelor's in social work, even before I was accepted into the nursing program. So I was like, screw that, drop nursing. Let me go ahead and get my master's because I do not want to go back to school.
Yeah.
I didn't like school because I felt like it took up so much time, so much of my day. I couldn't party, couldn't have fun like everybody else. I wanted to live my life. So I
Mm-hmm.
went accelerated program for my master's degree at Barry University. And then
Where
I
is that?
graduated. That's in
Say where.
Miami. Miami,
Oh, okay.
Florida. Yeah, so that was an experience and that was cool. And from then on, I'm like, yeah, I'm a social worker for life. If I feel like going back to school, I may do nursing again, but after getting a terminal degree, there really isn't a reason to go back to school. So it was it. I'm a social worker. That's it.
Right, right. So you have your, is it your BSW and your MSW? Do you have a nursing degree?
No, I have an associate's in science, and that was the
Okay.
prereqs for my nursing degree, or the prereqs before the nursing degree. And then I have a bachelor's in social work and a master's in social work.
Wow, you are like a triple threat. That is awesome. I love that. And
Thank you.
especially like, and I can appreciate that spectrum of knowledge as a medical social worker myself, because there's so many ways that a person's physical health impacts their emotional and mental health and coping, like so many ways. And then the physical symptoms overlap with the mental and emotional symptoms. So, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so awesome. Are you
You're
happy you did
totally
that?
right. Super happy. Like you know how some people they graduate from social work school and then they want to go save the world and they're like, oh, this is not what I thought.
Yeah.
I quit. I don't want to be a social worker anymore. It's the world is too cruel, you know?
That's what happened to me, girl. That's what happened to me.
Yes, like and then they're like, oh, I thought I was gonna make more money and all this stuff. And I'm glad that I had the insight and I was able to kind of prepare myself for the real world and kind of know how it is out there because it's not pretty, it's not fun. Social work is a hard job and a lot of times it's thankless. But you just got to be prepared for that when you graduate and go to the field.
Yeah, and not take it personally.
Right. Every time somebody says, "Oh, I don't know about this degree anymore," I'm like, "Wait." I am the total advocate for social workers to pimp out their degree. Like, you went to school for a reason. Don't go rack up any more debt. Let's figure this out because with the terminal degree, you could do so much with it. And just a lot of people just aren't aware of how diverse it is and how diverse our field is.
Yes, and how marketable it is. Like we have so many skills that businesses need. We just need to like figure out how to tweak it, how to market ourselves. And you're right,
Right.
we don't necessarily need a whole new degree to even like shift because like social work is so diverse. But and you have like essentially shifted, so I'm excited to get to that too.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
Yes. So before we dive in that, what kind of social work have you actually done? Like I know you're a medical social worker. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, like I said, when I started school, like ever since I was a kid, 4 years old, I remember writing a letter to myself and my mom put it on the fridge saying that when I grow up, I want to be a nurse because I want to help people. I don't know if that was through school or what, because I started kindergarten, but I know I had that. So in my mind, I already knew when I grow up, I want to help people and I want to be a nurse. So in my head, hospital, that's where I'm gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah.
where I'm gonna work. And I've been working in the healthcare field. And my first job was at Target. And after that, I've been working in the healthcare field since I was about 18, 19, 19, since I
Wow.
was 19. So knowing that the medical field was where I wanted to be, um, when I graduated from social work school, even during my internship, I tried to make sure I was in a place, you know, like the hospital. So my first internship was in a hospital setting doing discharge planning right under the director. And then for my second internship where I did my master's degree, I was in a dual diagnosis program helping people diagnosed with AIDS deal with their substance abuse. So I
Oh,
did
interesting.
therapy, group therapy, and one-on-one individual therapy for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out therapy was not my thing because I mean everybody loved me and it was just it's a lot emotionally to handle. So I found myself taking home people problems and just like so I'm like, yeah, therapy isn't my
Mm-hmm.
thing. I know I'm helping people and impacting people and they really like me, but it's stressing me out.
Yes.
So I knew when I graduated, I was not going to be doing therapy. I'm going back to
Okay.
the hospital and I will be working in case management because, I have the skills there already. And that's just my comfort zone. I felt like, it, the turnover rate is like every 3 days. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to feel like, oh my God, I'm marrying this person. They're part of my family and I can't believe this is happening. I will make sure that this bill is paid and that you go
Mm-hmm.
home with the proper resources, so that you are safe. And that was my thing. I was good. That was my mojo.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And
So
I
I,
love that because there's things that we are just naturally good at. And I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I suck at this. Like, let me practice it some more. Like, no, you don't need to do that. If
right,
you don't like it, if it's not your jam, then don't do it. And just like grow in the fields that you really love and that you're passionate about.
right. So when I applied for my first job after college, it was in the hospital system. And, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work in case management. So when they approached me with the opportunity to be cross-trained in 3 different settings, I had started to work in a behavioral health setting, the psychiatric hospital connected to the hospital, the acute rehab for physical therapy hospital connected to the system, and an acute hospital for regular medical issues. So I worked in all 3 buildings doing discharge planning, and I worked in the psychiatric, the behavioral health hospital, and the acute rehab physical therapy hospital doing discharge planning and concurrent clinical reviews. So I had to make
Wow.
sure that we are getting paid for the patient's stay, they're at the appropriate level of care, and they get discharged with the appropriate resources to not readmit back to the hospital.
So I know that there's a lot of people listening that don't really understand like all the terms that you're saying. Do you have a story that you can share that illustrates or gives an example of like what you would do at one of the hospitals?
Oh, yes. So I can actually go through the whole system with one patient because I had one patient through all 3 hospitals.
Oh yeah, let's hear that.
So I had experience working in a trauma through my internship. So I was always in the trauma social worker in the acute hospital, the regular hospital. And there was a patient who tried to commit suicide. So he jumped off of his 3-story home and he was in the ICU. So I transitioned him from the ICU to the acute rehab hospital because he was all broken up. He needed to learn how to walk again. He needed to learn how to shower. So he was in the acute rehab hospital receiving physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, because he had issues, because he has ribs, punctured hips, lungs, and stuff. He has some issues
Wow.
with swallowing. So he needed all of those 3 intense therapies daily. And they did that in the acute rehab hospital.
How long was it
Now,
there for?
oh, he was there for weeks. Like he was there for a couple of weeks in the trauma unit. And then straight from the trauma unit, he went to the acute rehab hospital because when you try to commit suicide, you're high risk. So straight from the trauma, he went to acute rehab hospital so that he can learn how to mobile, so he can learn how to walk again,
Mm-hmm.
and he can increase his level of functioning because ultimately he is going to go to the psych facility. Usually by that time, doctors feel like, with medication and therapy at the acute rehab hospital, because they do have therapists that go and visit those patients for patients like him who have mental health issues, they can kind of stabilize their mood and their behavior at the acute rehab hospital level. But he still wanted to kill himself. He was upset that it did not happen, and he wasn't stabilized. He was really, 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 really bad.
Mm-hmm. What was
So
his
after
age?
weeks,
What was about his age range?
he was about 40,
Okay.
and it wasn't his first suicide attempt.
Okay.
So he was under close supervision. So after he was able to walk and eat soft foods, and he was able to do some things on his own with supervision because he still had to be supervised so he doesn't try to commit suicide again, he was transitioned to the psychiatric hospital that was right next door within the same hospital system to help stabilize his mood and regulate his feelings and medication management
Mm.
for mental illness. So that's where the psychiatrist was able to kind of get him connected to a psychiatrist that he felt comfortable with, because it all boiled down to he stopped taking his meds, he stopped going to the psychiatrist he was going to and a therapist because he didn't get along with them.
Mm-hmm.
So while he was in a psychiatric hospital for those another couple of weeks, the psychiatrist at the hospital was able to pair him with an in-network psychiatrist and an in-network therapist that will be able to help him work through his issues in the community. They stabilized his mood and regulated his feelings through group therapy there and one-on-one therapy, because they also have therapists in the psychiatric hospital as well, and where it's mandated that you go to therapy. So after that, he was able to go home safely with supervision from family and make sure he was following up in the community with his new psychiatrist and psychologist. And not only did we, as the case managers, make the appointments for him to make sure that he has proper follow-up, the behavioral health case managers from the health insurance would follow up with him while he's at home as well.
Wow, that's
So
fascinating.
that's one case from the beginning to the end in all three systems of my experience.
Thank you. I feel like that really brought life to like your experience and what you do. So thank you for sharing that. That's fascinating.
You're welcome. I didn't know I was going to get into that when I got hired for that job.
I know.
I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I gained so much experience and skills. So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's intense.
it is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm just kind of curious, like, so you're doing so good with the like hospital work and the medical social work and discharge planning. Like, what prompted you or what made you want to get like transition to financial social work?
Actually, I didn't even know what financial social work was.
I guess we can start there
And
because I don't really know what it is either.
And I didn't even care, you know. But financial social work is a social worker who specializes in finance, specializes in financial literacy. Because what do we do as social workers? We help empower people to get over obstacles that they may be going through. A lot of obstacles that, you know, normal people go through is finances, the lack of finances, you know, the ability to manage money, the amount coming in and the amount going out. So I became a mom. And after I had my daughter, I went back to the hospital, back to work after my 3 weeks. And a lot has changed with my position. So I didn't really have like a position. I was just training people to replace me in the areas that I was working, which I thought was super weird, but whatever. So I also noticed that my salary wasn't increased as the corporation said that it would be if I was cross-trained in all these areas. New director came in, you know how that goes. So I'm like, okay, strike one, you're not increasing my salary. Strike two, you got me replacing my position with other people. So I was training nurses to do the concurrent clinical reviews in the acute rehab hospital and in the behavioral health setting in the psychiatric hospital. So instead of me just doing it, they had me training nurses to do it, which kind of pissed me off because I had the higher degree, you know, and I've been doing the position. And, you know, no offense against nurses because I love them, but I felt like we invest so much time going to school, getting a master's degree, and we're training someone with an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, and they get paid more than us, you know? And they actually replace us in jobs where we were effective and efficient in, which is crazy, but it's corporate America. So that was strike two. And then strike three was, I just felt like I'm going to ask them one more time because it got to be more to life than this. I can't even make my student loan payments. I need to make more money.
I know, yes.
And it was strike three. I was like, screw this. I got to find something else. Get me out the hospital. I need to work from home. I need to do something. I have to level up. And I also read that if you're in a position for more than 2 to 5 years, that means you need to change because your salary won't change until you change. You need to acquire new skills
Mm,
to show. So I acquired a lot of new skills. I just needed to get in a different setting.
mm-hmm.
And working in case management, dealing with finances so much, I just decided to leverage that. I transitioned to a position at home. I figured out how to make some extra money using my skills in finance and developed a business out of that. After I said, let me just get certified so people know that I'm legit and I know what I'm talking about. And I developed my financial services business from that.
That's awesome. So is there an actual financial like certification, financial social work certification?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A number of schools have them.
What was that?
A number of schools have them, yes.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. That's awesome. Okay.
And something extra that looks good on your resume. But also, if you need to help, if you want to have something on the side, you can have something on the side.
Exactly. Yeah. And we all need something on the side because those student loans are no joke.
No joke.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of curious. What do you feel that social workers need to know about the most? Like, what's going to be most important for them?
The most important things that social worker need to know about the degree itself or
Like
about
about finances. So, like, what's a topic that you feel is a big need that social workers should know about, or like people in general? Like, what should we know about finances?
I feel like everybody should know that you can budget. You just have to be willing to budget.
Mm,
A lot of people feel like they can't budget, but you have to look at your budget and acknowledge that you're unable to manage your money appropriately in order to move forward. So, reaching out to a financial specialist or a financial social worker or a financial advisor is really helpful instead of just keep repeating the same old thing and and
mm-hmm.
lacking in your finances. So it's okay to talk about it. You know how we normalize everything. Us social workers, we normalize everything because why? Nothing is normal. Who's to say what's normal?
Right.
You know? So we're normalizing everything else. We might as well normalize that conversation about finances and salary.
Yeah.
Normalize that. Normalize that conversation about creating your own, leveraging your skills, and having a little side hustle.
I feel like one of the things that a lot of us have, but nobody really wants to talk about is credit debt. Like credit card debt, like running up debt on your credit.
Oh yeah.
Because I know I was there for a minute. Like I had a new baby. I was in my job. They weren't giving me the raise. Like you said, I had been there like 3 or 4 years. The raises weren't coming. And every month I was like putting like 100, 200, $300 on my credit card to live, to pay bills, to buy food, to do like the basic stuff. And I was just like digging myself in a hole. And I feel like so many people are there. It's just like we don't talk about it. Like I barely told my husband. I just told him because I had to, but it's like such, I don't know. There's like some sort of, I don't know if everyone feels like a sense of shame, but I felt like embarrassed about it,
Oh yeah.
So do you have any tips as far as like the credit and managing your credit, and like is there any way to fix it?
Oh yeah. But you hit a point when you said you were embarrassed and you were afraid to tell your husband. Girl, I have a story for that. And that's one of the reasons how my business developed. So after having my baby and I went back to work, I actually purchased a house on maternity leave, me and my husband. So our credit was great, purchased a house, but my house was empty. And in order for people to come over and be like, oh, look at my house. I wanted my house to look like a home.
Yeah.
So I took my little credit cards and was swiping. I was swiping everywhere. My husband is like, I don't think you should do that. You know, who knows what's going to happen in the future? Things will come when they come. Okay, honey. Yeah. Things were coming to this house when he was at work. I was just like, my house is going to be so nice and I'll just pay it off. I get a check every 2 weeks. He get a check every 2 weeks. Everything will be fine. And then 6 months, was it 6 months? Yeah, like 6 months later, or 9 months later, actually. 9 months later, he got laid off from his job.
Oh.
And he was out of work for like a month. And I had to pay all the bills with my social work check. The social work check that did not want to increase my salary at the hospital. So I had to figure some stuff out and figure out what are basic needs, what needs to be paid, and what can wait. You know, what's not that important, what can wait. And one of those things, or a couple of those things that weren't important, was my furniture set that I decided to finance, and my credit card bills and my student loans. So I was like, yeah, keep them to the side until my husband get a job back, and then I can start managing everything, because he had no idea I had all this out. I didn't tell him. I just told him, oh yeah, I just figured it out with the money. It was a good sale, That's what I did. Try to act like I had everything together,
No.
So after he got a job, I was comfortable with extra money in my pocket. And I'm like, screw that, this stuff. I haven't paid it in a month, whatever. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then a year later, I got sued from a furniture place for $800.
Oh my gosh.
Who would know you could get sued for $800? I didn't know. So I was hiding the subpoena and stuff. They actually came knock on my door when he was watering the lawn in the back. And I'm like,
oh,
what? Me?
gosh.
Subpoena? Thank you very much. Bye, sir. And I ran in the room to read the letter. And I'm like, I'm being sued for $800. I hid that thing until the court date, called out of work, went to court, and saw one of his friends there.
No, you didn't.
Girl, I got busted. I left. At first, I said, let me get out of here as soon as I can. The lawyer comes to me. Oh, yeah. So would you like to settle? Or do you want to go speak to the judge? And I'm like, I can settle? I don't have to go talk to her and stand in front of all these people? Let's do this. So I settled, signed the paperwork, ran out of there as fast as I can, because I was like, hopefully he didn't see me. And he called my husband and was like, oh, I saw your wife in court. And are you guys doing okay? Just being nosy, Like, people, mind your business. And my husband's like, no, she's at work. He said, no, I saw her in court. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
He calls me fussing, cussing, and I just break down and cry and tell him the thing. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you. Our credit's going to be shot. And I'm like, but it's my credit. He's like, yeah, your credit's my credit. I mean, you're right. So I said, don't worry, I'll figure it out. And because I help establish and rebuild my own credit so that we can get this house, and I establish his credit, because the women got to do everything for the man. I didn't have time as a mom looking for another job. I didn't have time to do that again myself. So I came across a company that I was able to pay. I would say, I'm just going to pay them because I got to figure it out. So, Starbucks, all that got cut out. I paid them to help me fix my credit, dispute the negative items off of my report. And also, I joined their referral program so that I can make some extra money on the side to pay off these furniture people that I made a deal with. And that was pretty successful. And learning through that business, I was able to develop my own business.
That's awesome. So what do you do now? Like, what's your business? Tell me.
So you asked, oh, is there any debt? Is there any relief to help people increase their credit score? That's exactly what I do. With Sham's Financial Services, I offer financial literacy. I offer credit repair. So there is light at the end of the tunnel for people who have less than perfect credit.
Mm.
I help help people come up with a strategic plan in order to build their credit. And I help people establish credit because I have a secure credit card that we contract with to help people, start their credit off. Because there's a lot of people that are over 18 who have never had a credit card and they don't have a zip of credit. You will be surprised.
That was me. I know when I went to college, they had like these bank people at the college. They're like, "Hey, do you have a credit card?" I was like, "No." They're like, "You want one?" Sure.
You see how they give it away so easy?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They give it away so easy because they know that you don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of the services that I provide. I also do online notary services because I'm a notary in Florida, and I got certified to complete online notary services. And another thing that really drove me to partner with this company was that they are able to offer a product for advanced directives. All of us social workers know advanced directives, how important they are.
My ears perked up.
Power of attorney.
So because I do advanced directives all the time, and sometimes I need a notary. So one, you said that there's online notaries?
Oh yeah, it's new since January.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so good.
It's new since January. Yes, so that we are able, so all states that are, how do you say, all states that accept online notarizations, I think it's about 15 of them. I can get you the list after this. But all states that accept online notarizations, you can do it remotely. So you're able to notarize a document from the comfort of your own home in 2020.
Wait, so when you can notarize, is that in your state of Florida or like anywhere in the 15 states, or how does that work?
So I have to just physically be here in the state of Florida, but I can do the remote online notary with any of the other participating states. So if someone calls me from New York, California, I got them.
That is so nifty. I am going to remember that and probably use you because coronavirus, like,
use me as your resource.
Everyone's staying home. That's amazing. Okay, awesome. Okay, so go on about the advanced directives.
So with that, we are able to offer a packet. It is 4 documents: power of attorney healthcare, power of attorney for finances, a will, and a trust. And you can get all of those together, and they're good to use because of the trust included, good to use for asset planning. So we help with those documents. And I positioned myself out of the hospital because I wanted to be able to help people, like for real. Because working in the hospital and a family is in crisis mode and they're coming to the case manager's office, I need a power of attorney. Mom's in the ICU, unable to speak, and I need to make those decisions for her legally and blah, 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 blah. So the only thing that we can do, you work in a hospital, so you probably are familiar, is advise them to go seek a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
we don't have that resource.
Yeah, it's too late
in the hospital.
Yeah, it's too late to do that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Right. And then for people who are diagnosed with a terminally ill diagnosis and they want to plan for, when things get worse, we don't have that resource to give to people because it always involves a lawyer. And, the hospital lawyers, they don't mix. So we can't recommend those services. And we always say, oh, you should probably speak with a lawyer. Those lawyer fees for those documents run from $1,200 to $15,000. It's ridiculous how much it costs for those type of documents.
Yeah, that is so crazy. And
so I'm able to provide them, remotely. at an affordable price for people. And I really like that. And I wanted to help. So in order to market the hospital to help the people, I had to remove myself due to conflict of
Sure.
interest.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, not awesome that you're moved. It's awesome that you have your own business. There we go.
No, it's awesome I have my own business. It's awesome I got out the hospital.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be at any place too long with any career. You don't want to be at any place too long. So you're right. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
We got to keep growing.
Thank you.
Keep growing.
That is totally
That's
true.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adora. Where can people find out more information? Where can they get in contact with you?
I have a website, so if anybody is interested in the services, they can also always go and browse shamslawfinancial.com, and that's ShamslawFinancial.com. shamslawfinancial.com. You can also email me at adora@shamslawfinancial.com. And follow the Instagram business page called Sham's Law Financial Services.
And
now my Instagram is a little different because, like I said, me and my husband, we own the business. So if you look up A_credit_strategist, you will find my profile. And a lot of good, helpful tips on how you can probably do things on your own to increase your score.
Awesome. And if you didn't vigorously write this down, it's okay. It'll be in the show notes. So you don't have to replay it a bunch of times. So it'll be there. All the links will be there. Thank you so, so much, Adora. I learned so much, and I know that you're doing really amazing things. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for interviewing me and allowing me to speak on some of the things that, other people are afraid to speak on.
Yeah, because
I tell people I'm a social worker. I'm non-judgmental, and I'm here to help you. Here to help you.
Yes, I love it. I like to end on a positive note. So do you have a favorite quote that you want to leave us with?
I do. And I'm trying to make sure I get it right. Okay. It's tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, but if you involve me, I will learn. And that's a quote that always kind of stuck with me when I was working in a hospital because when you get your first job as a social worker, you look at your salary and you're like, I got a master's degree. I should be making way more. I came across this quote and I'm like, as long as I'm able to learn and leverage my skills, I would be able to, grow. So that quote is by Ben Franklin. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, and involve me and I will learn.
Yes, so powerful. And it's so true. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adora. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we'll stay in touch.
You're welcome. Thank you again. Have a good day. Okay.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Social Workers Rise. If you loved it, write a review and give us 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcast. This just helps other people just like you find us and join our community. Also, I would love to connect with you on Instagram. You can find me at Social Workers Rise. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.